y'all, it's Hope at Crafty Hope, and I am here in the floor of my craft room because I have more space to work than on my desk, and I am working on creating an assemblage owl. I think it's Kathy over at Art Elements has issued the challenge this month, and it is birds of prey, and I love owls. I've got some kind of obsession with them, so I thought I'd do some kind of assemblage owl. I think I'm going to do a jewelry piece too, but I wanted to do something big, and all I've taken is a piece of scrap wood. I'm trying to turn this over because it's still wet. This, I went out to my husband's shop and found this kind of thin piece of wood that he said I could have, and I've sanded it down a little bit, and now I have painted it with a little bit of just white gesso. And those are my first steps. Now let me show you what I'm going to be using. I have pulled out some buckles and keys and jewelry elements and stuff, and these are ones I've tried out. I may end up pulling out some more, and I'll probably layer on a bunch more keys. Oh, these are heavy. I've got a big old bucket of keys here. So I picked out some things that I'm going to try to do kind of a mixed media owl. And I want to walk y'all through the process. So this is the first step. I will let you know when we get to the next one. So the next one I think is going to be painting this like a blue-black. So I may film that while I do it, but right now I'm waiting for the gesso to dry, and I'm not using this foam brush, okay? Just so you know, it is crummy as all get out. Blech, it's so gross. It's going in the trash. All right, guys, you'll see in a minute what I'm fixing to do. I've tried to adjust the camera some so y'all have a better angle to see what I'm doing here. I tested out some different things, some black gesso and white gesso, and some colors of blue that I thought we'd use on here to figure out exactly what I want to do. I think I'm just going to go for it. I've got the couple of paints. They're all acrylic paints, like a primary blue and a midnight blue, which really is the lightest, which is weird, and a Payne's gray to kind of figure out what I want to do on this painting. So as long as I remember top and bottom, I think I'm just going to go for it. So this will probably be sped up, and I'm using a plate as my palette, and we'll see how this goes. So I have painted it my several shades of blue. Apparently the gesso was not dry, and so I've got some white streaks in there. I tried to dry it in there, you may have seen. So I'm probably going to have to go back over it a little bit, but I'm going to let it dry. And through the power of the internet, you won't have to wait for it, but I do. And I'm going to try to let it dry naturally without the heat gun, just to make sure it's good dry. So I'll come back to this later, but you'll get to see it here in a second. Alright, so I'm back. I have painted this. I painted the sides. The color, I kept it a little, I don't know if you can see it, a little with some of the blues mixed in with some of the Payne's gray and all of that, and just left it, I don't know, kind of all over the place. So I'm done with my paint and my gesso, and now it's time to get to gluing. First, I think I'm going to try to arrange what I have on the board a little bit and make sure it's still what I want. I did take a picture of it that I may have to go back and refer to, but for now I think I just kind of want to go to town and see how it looks. So I'm going to start with, I've got my box of things that I had placed on there, and you can see it's some jewelry bits and buckles and lots of keys. So I'm gonna see what we can do. And again, I'll be using E6000 to glue it down. So let's go. laying out all my little pieces, I found that this one buckle was super shiny and new and not exactly what I wanted. So I was trying to figure out what to do. So I took that baby outside and spritzed it with some gold spray paint followed by a frosted spray paint to give it kind of a burnished brass color that matched the owl a lot better. So that's the big adjustment I made there. All right, so I've kind of laid out what I want this to be. I'm going to use some more keys. I got, oh, my big old bucket here and a couple spatterings in here, that once I get these down, I'll probably lay down some more layers on top of these keys to give it a more feathery layered effect. So it's now down to start gluing. I'm a little nervous about this. So kind of want to turn some of this where it gets a little easier to reach, and I don't really need the paper down here anymore, probably not, but I'm gonna leave it for now and start gluing, guys. So I am speeding up the gluing portion, and I'm going to cut out some of this, but I just want to show you the first portion. The head's the trickiest part of this whole thing, and the buckles down at the bottom, because of the way it's raised in certain portions. I have to just make sure I'm putting glue on the areas that are going to touch that board. And the key is a little tricky, so I'll leave that, and not the key. The head, the chain at the top of the head's also a little tricky, so I'm going to show you all that. But then the keys themselves, I'm really just putting glue on the heads of the keys and holding them by like the stem key portion. So there's the chain, and I'm putting down, I did the center, and then I kind of lift up different portions and glue it down, and I'm using a toothpick to get up under there. So, and I got a little close to the edge, but it's okay. My husband's going to build a frame on and back it with some board, I think, to finish it up. So here's, I'm putting down my little drill bit, and now I'll start on the keys. All right, guys, so I'm just gluing these all down, and we'll go ahead and skip ahead. So these have all been glued down. They're still, I don't know, sealing or securing themselves a bit. And I am going to go ahead and pull out some more keys and lay them on top for another layer. And I guess I'll keep the camera on and fast forward through that so y'all can get a look at what I'm doing. Hold on, I've got bit of glue here that I kind of don't want to stick my wood on and glue the whole thing to the paper. So, alright, so I'm going to start with some of the extras I have in here and layer them and see what we can do from here. So this portion of the process was a whole willy-nilly mess for me. I laid them down. I was trying to cover up some of the black in the background to give the body more substance and cover up the backboard, and it wasn't working, and I ended up taking the keys off and then turning them upside down so that the tines were pointing up, and I tried, I don't even know, several different methods, and so we're going to just skip the rest of this. Now that you've seen some of my process, here's where I'm taking them off to try something else. But we'll skip the rest of this. Okay, what I was laying down was a hot mess, so I consulted with my husband about how I should lay that second layer, because he's good with having a second eye for me. And I think we've come up with this pattern, and I'm going to glue these down next. I'm not going to film that because, well, you've seen how I glue, so you don't need to see that anymore. And I'll come back in a little bit and show y'all the finished product. I've moved from the floor to my desk, and it's all done. Look at that. It's a beautiful owl. I'll put some pictures at the end where you can see this whole guy. It's kind of hard to get him here in frame, but I'm super excited about it. My husband says he may make me a frame to go around it so we can hang it up in the house, but otherwise I was thinking I would just put some of the little screw-in connectors up here to hang it, but if he's gonna make me a frame, that's even better. Anyway, I'm loving him, and I can't wait to use more keys and make more assemblage stuff like this at some point. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you have any questions. That's about it, guys. All right, bye.